After you've assembled all of your supplies, I start assembling the top mini box, or I might call it the personalizable mini box, but it's the upper edition basically. So what I do first is I sand all of the areas in which the wood is going to come together where there's no double-sided adhesive. So you can see me sanding all of the pieces. And I do this ahead of time to allow for curing while I'm making the main box. So here, as you see, I'm adding super glue to the top part of the addition, and because there's no adhesive. You can choose to have an enclosed top, but this is the open piece, so I'm adding transparent flex there. So once I have added the transparent flex, then I'm going to add super glue to all the pieces of the mini edition and assemble those onto the top piece. So you see that I also add super glue to the connection that's going to be made between the pieces and the top. Again, just to make sure that it's going to adhere very well, because this piece is you're going to move this piece on and off to get to the lights. So once you've had the pieces assembled in the top piece, I add a scrap piece of the main top box just to hold the pieces together evenly and allow them to cure while you're creating the other box. You then want to add the top cover. And once you add the top cover, you're going to set that aside and allow it to cure. Then I'm going to go ahead and start making putting together the main box. I start with the back. You can also start with the fronts and sides. It doesn't matter. I remove the front back of the adhesive, and then, or the backing of the adhesive, and test the fairy lights. And then I'm going to embed the fairy lights into the adhesives of the back piece of the main box. I just, go around and evenly spread them out, pressing them into the adhesive. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. Just make sure they're evenly spread out. And then once they are embedded into the adhesive evenly, then I take, I've got a little, I don't know what stick that I'm going to just press the lines between the lights into the actual adhesive. So once I have all my lights onto the back piece, I'm going to prepare the front and side pieces. I'm going to prepare them by going ahead and adding the flex to each of those pieces. You start by removing the backing of your adhesive and then adding your transparent flex. You want to make sure you have it the correct orientation you want before applying. So once I have finished the top, then I'm going to repeat the steps on the two sides of the main box. And again, no right or wrong way to do this. You just, add them evenly. And then once you have your three sides prepared, then you can go ahead and start preparing your bottom. The bottom piece of the main box, it again can be open or enclosed. This is open, so I'm going to choose to add a small piece of flex to this. I add super glue, and then I remove the excess super glue because I don't want it seeping out the sides, and I just use a piece of vellum. Once the flex is added, then you can start assembling the sides of your main box. Again, no right or wrong way as far as, what piece you start with. As you're adding pieces, I try to make them as flush as I can, and then press each piece into the adhesive. So you'll see that there's an adhesive that's going to stick these together along the sides. Once the back is added and your box is enclosed, again, you want to make sure that all the sides are even, and then press them in. Then I'm going to add a piece of vellum paper. I have it cut to just the right size to just stick it in there and then kind of adhere the ends to adhesive. Once that is done, I'm going to prepare, I use deer leather cord. I'm going to prepare the cord for my ornament just by cutting a piece. I don't know how long I cut it. I may have to measure it at one point, and then tie a knot in the end. Then I'm going to take the top of the main box and go ahead and put the cord through the main box before putting it on the top. Then you want to insert the battery pack through the square in the top. And then once you determine the orientation of the top piece, you can add super glue to the very top of the main box. Again, I do this just to make sure that it's extra secure and does not come off. So once you have added super glue, then you can go ahead and put the top of the main box onto the main box. And again, you just have to get the orientation correct before, pressing it in. So once the main box is complete, then you test your lights to make sure everything looks good. At this point, you have not super glued the bottom part yet. So once you have everything ready, you want to make sure that your battery pack, you want the on-off toggle to kind of face downward. You figure your orientation right, and then I use a piece of 1/8 inch thick wood on the side opposite the on-off switch just to make sure the spacing is correct. You then want to apply just a circle of 3M double-sided adhesive. I use 2, you probably don't have to, but I use 2 pieces. So once you've got the orientation the way you want it and you are ready to adhere it, you just want to remove the backing. And then using the spacer on the opposite end of the on-off switch, you want to adhere the battery pack to the top of the mini box. So once that's in, you want to insert your ornament string through the hole in the very top of the mini box. And sometimes you may have to, because that's 2 wood thick, 2 pieces of wood thick. Sometimes you might have to use something to get the string out or through. So once you have the string through the top, then you can just test your fit. And you just want to make sure that, the string is all the way out and it fits good. And then you want to add the cover around the top, because make sure you do this, add it around the top, and then assemble the top and then press the cover down just to make sure that it's even, and it makes it very easy. So you see how I slip the cover through the string and around the top, and then I make sure that the top piece is, in before I adhere the cover. So once that is done, you can turn it over, and it looks like I did not include this in the video, but you want to make sure that you super glue the bottom piece to the actual box as well. It should hold, but again, just, to make sure. And then you can turn the on-off switch very easily, as you see.